Hi everyone, my name is Silvia and right now I live in Sweden. So I started to stutter when I was 3 or 4 and I was stuttering on 90% of my words with block, repetitive sounds, go silent. In my family, my father is a stutter. And also my mom, she was a stutter. But when she was young, she cured herself. So I never heard her stuttering, not even once. And I remember when I asked, how did you beat it? She told me that at some point in her life, she found a balance. So she stopped caring about the judgment. She stopped caring about what people think. And she learned how to breathe properly in pressure situation. Then I have a sister, but she's super fluent. The first episodes about my stuttering that I can remember was at the primary school. So we were supposed to do a small play for Easter in front of our parents. And I had to say just one small sentence, just once. And I was so excited about that because I loved speaking and I was looking forward to it. But then a teacher started to ask me, do you think you can handle? Or are you sure you want to speak? And for the first time in my life, I felt a lot of pressure on me. But in the end, that small play went fine. And then I remember that I was playing with some friend of mine and I disagree with one of them. So I was explaining my point of view. And suddenly he said, what do you want to say? You can say anything, you are just a stutter. And I was, I think, 9 years old. And that fact hurt me so much. So from that moment on, I started to be super sensitive. I started to care about the judgment and what people think. So I wanted that everyone liked me, because if they like me, no one is going to say anything bad about my stuttering. But then things came worse when I went to the high school. For instance, a professor of mine suggested me to put a stone in my mouth and speak in front of the storm. I mean, which kind of suggestion is it? How can you say something so silly? Sorry for the word. And then also, a few professors made me write instead of speaking. So in those moments, my pressure just dropped. So I was feeling fine. But on the other hand, I was feeling very humiliated because I know that I could speak. During this period, I did a lot of therapists and I learned some crutches also, like word linkage or speak softly. So don't force the word to go out. But what I missed was the mind training part and the support to how to face a pressure situation. So my therapist provided me just a temporary solution. And during the high school, I started to do a small job like babysitting or working as bartender. And I noticed that in those situations, I was fluent. So speaking with child or working as a bartender was so easy to me, because usually people go to the bar to chill out and have a drink. So they just don't care about you. So I never stutter in those situations. Then when I had to choose the university, I both liked medicine and engineering, but then I chose biomedical engineering because I thought that if I would have been a doctor, I would have to speak a lot more. So I prefer the other way, because I wasn't ready to get out of my comfort zone. During the university, everything was fine. My speech improved, but let me be honest, most of the exams were written. So I didn't have so much opportunity to speak. And then when I graduated, I was afraid to not find a job because of my stuttering. But in reality, I think I was lucky, because nobody cared about it. But also, my job does not require me to speak a lot. It's not like selling things. I have to implement and of course speak, but not so much. And when I started to work, I noticed that I had a lot of fear speaking with authority figures like my boss or customers. And when I had to do a presentation about something that I implemented, I asked someone else to do it for me, even if I did the job. So I was trying to avoid to speak in every situation, basically. And yeah, but then we moved to Sweden to make an experience abroad. And since in Sweden and in my company, the hierarchy is super flat. So there is no difference between me and my boss. My speech improved a lot. And also because speaking in English was easier to me, since nobody was expecting me to speak fast. So I had all the time that I wanted to think and speak with calm. But then I got pregnant, and suddenly my speech just became worse, really, really worse. So I couldn't say a word. I couldn't say a word with my husband, or speaking at the phone with my family or my sister. It was really impossible to me. So since I noticed that sometimes I was fluent, sometimes I was stuttering, I thought there must be a cure. So one day I started to have a look on the website, in internet for anything, and I found on Facebook this book. So I thought, yeah, I wasted a lot of money in therapists, so let's try the book. And I started reading the book, and then in Liz's Facebook profile there was the link for some meeting. So I joined it, and I remember the first time that I joined it, that I stuttered really badly. And then finished the book. Lee proposed me to help me. So proposed to do some coaching session with him, and we are still doing it. So I think it has been 5 months, and he motivated me a lot when things didn't go well. And with him, we learned the crutches even more better. So he motivated me to never give up. And we analyzed every bad situation that happened to me, and we found a solution for everyone. And so little by little, reading the book, do mind training. So in the first period, I did self-hypnosis because it was better for me. Do the coaching session with Lee, joining some meeting, and even if I didn't talk so much, just say one sentence meant a lot to me, because you can expand your comfort zone little by little. And I started to notice a lot of improvement in my daily life. So at work, for instance. And for instance, this winter, I came back home to visit my parents. And I remember that my father, and also my mother, but mostly my father, said, "Wow, you are so fluent. I'm really happy for you. It's amazing." So yeah, it was one of the best moments in my life, I think, because he was so proud of me, and yes, I was really happy. And so right now, the path for me is very long, because I studied for 30 years. So my fluency memory, yes, I mean that I have to work to fill my fluency memory. But just for the moment, my life has completely changed. So I'm able to call the doctor, for instance, is a basic thing, but I can do it. And for instance, yesterday I had 6 hours of job interview, and I was so focusing on what I was doing that I forgot to stutter. And that's, for me, the best achievement in my life for the moment.